attitude is going, but it needs to be muted still. And bloop. There we go. All right, friends. Deep lunges. Oh, good. I'm glad we have a request for deep lunges today. All right. We are going to start on the floor as we do and take a moment to switch gears. But just to meet your expectations today, if you do have bricks, this is a great day for bricks. In fact, I might even bring out 2 bricks because we're doing deep lunges today. Oh. I don't know where my other brick went. There it is. Okay. Yes, today we're going to do deep lunges and we're going to do an inner thigh release, which means we are going to spend some extra time on the ground doing some deep lunges. And again, we're talking about the idea of centering. So this notion from Donna Farahiy's yogic movement principles of pulling inwards towards the center of your body. So let's start on our mats. Finding yourself in your easy pose, which is not easy for everybody. So if you find it hard to sit here without feeling like you're sort of falling backwards, feel free to put a folded blanket or a little meditation pillow or even a couple of bricks under your buns so that it feels more easy to get your pelvis vertical, allowing your spine to stack right on top of itself so that you can relax your shoulders and allow your rib cages to expand and soften with each breath. I invite you today to place your palms upwards and open as you begin slowing down your breath. Letting yourself feel the air on your palms, allowing yourself to float your head upwards. Knowing that distractions happen and letting them pass. Choosing not to worry about reacting to the chaos that goes on around ourselves. In this movement, we're going to choose stillness. In this movement, we choose the peace of gentle breath. In this moment, we dive inward. With your next inhale, I invite you to float your skull up like a balloon, imagining your spine like a soft ribbon hanging down from that floating balloon. As you sigh, allow your shoulders and shoulder girdle to slide down the back of your rib cage. Inhale, floating up, letting the rib cage expand open in the front. And as you exhale, let those ribs soften down like water is rushing down the front of your chest. Inhale, floating and broadening that rib cage. Exhale, feeling your shoulders and arms sink down with gravity. And start to let your lower back and belly move as well. So inhale, make space through the lower back. Let the belly expand forward as the air presses down the diaphragm. And exhale, let your belly button soften to your spine and your spine soften towards the back of the room. Let yourself slouch a little bit and take your chin down to your chest. And inhale, head floats up again. And exhale, curve the spine. Chin to your chest, belly button to your spine. Rock back a little bit and let your hands grab those knees. And then rock forward and slide towards the mat. Your next inhale, stack that spine back up. Let those eyes open if they're not already. Big breath up. Reach out with those radiating arms. And let your shoulders come up for a second. Ooh, like a big morning stretch. And then we're going to center down those armpits as we fall to the right. And inhale up. Shoulder blades are down, and that centers us, and fall to the left. Come on up, center. Drop those shoulders. Elbows swing to the back of the room. Hands just behind your hips. Press and spread that heart forward. Gently tucking your chin just enough to make about a half an extra chin. Bring your skull back. Open those ribs. Option to lift the hips if you like. Hips fall down. Big breath in and up. Curve the spine to rock back. And switch your legs. And this time we're going to start by jiggling those legs. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Rub them out. Wake up those capillaries. Get some blood flow. When you're ready, nice and soft, we're going to take your hands down to our belly. Breathe in, letting the diaphragm push down and the belly expand as the air fills the lungs. And then exhale, compressing your belly with your transversus abdominis muscles. So just like a corset draws your belly in, those horizontal transversus abdominal muscles will press in, tighten around to help you really expel all of your breath out through the mouth. So we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through our mouth with some effort and force. All right, big breath in. Expel that air. And I'm going to use my Jalantara Bandha, which is the throat lock. Yeah, so that's part of how you do the Ujjayi breath that makes that funny noise like the ocean. So I'll breathe in through my nose. comes through my sinuses, down into my lungs, fills up my lungs, the diaphragm relaxes, the belly expands. And when I'm ready to exhale, I'm going to, you can start learning this by dropping your chin, but it's not necessary. Make that Darth Vader sound, and it comes from a tightness in the throat. And that just slows down the breath a little bit so you can have a more thorough pushing outward. All right, here we go. Ujjayi breath with belly motion. Inhale through nose. Hold for a couple beats if you can, and then exhale. Until you're all the way empty. Remember, you don't need to be exactly in the same time as me, so follow your own breath. The more that you practice breathing exercises or pranayama, the more that you will be affecting your internal system of emotional balance, right? Because when we slow down our breath, we slow down our heart. When we slow down our heart, then our heart says, oh, we must be ready to relax, yeah? So it's a great big cycle. And you can also use it during your practice. So we're gonna use our Ujjayi breath today. Breathing in through our nose and then out through that tightened throat lock. And it will bring a little bit of extra effort. See if I can get some effort out of this kitten. Yes. All right, so in general, when we're breathing, remember, if we're trying to raise energy, then we're gonna inhale up. So in this case, through the nose, and exhale down through our Ujjayi breath. So we'll make that little ocean sound on the way out. We're going to press it out center. Inhale, pull it in, roll it up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale up. And flow it front. Remember, you don't need to be in sync with me perfectly. You let your body and your own breath lead the way. This time we're going to twist to the left. Let your hands come down to the floor. Inhale to rise up through a tall spine. Exhale to twist some more. Inhale up. Exhale, switch. Shoulders back. Exhale, rotate. Inhale up. Exhale, open the chest. Gently tucking the chin. Spreading the rib cage forward and up. Opening the place where your heart resides. Opening your heart's option to lift the pelvis. Hips drop down. Inhale up. And slide both legs forward. And gently forward. Go ahead and walk out those feet. gently into your first forward fold of the day. And roll your head around. Whatever gentle movement in this forward fold feels delicious to you. And taking two soft fists underneath your knees, calves, or shins, wherever it is that feels the most supportive, we're going to drop our head down towards our knees and just take 3 breaths here. In through the nose, out through your throat lock. Inhale up. Reaching up, we're going to bring our legs in halfway and send our hands back behind ourselves and gently press up into a tabletop. And you know, sometimes a tabletop first thing in a practice does not feel good to me, so don't feel like you need to force it. Just explore. What does it feel to push your feet and your hands into your mat? If your knees and toes are both pointing away from your hips, you can add a little glide forward and back. Just waking up all those muscles that ground into the floor. And gently let those hips down. And we're going to come on up for our sun salutation. Coming to the front of your mat. And remember, yesterday we talked about the difference between the high lunge and the warrior one. So actually, before we start, let's just review that sensation of parallel legs. So I'm going to stand on my right leg, lift your left leg just slightly, and turn that thigh out. Parallel, turned out. Parallel, turned out. And switch them. Parallel, turned out. Parallel, and turned out. And then go ahead and bend your knees a little bit and just gently rock through your cat-cow. You can even put your hands on your thighs. Cat, meow. And cow. And cat, meow. And cow. So when we're shifting our bodies in and out of warrior one and high lunge, our pelvis is going to still be facing front, but we will change one leg, and that's quite difficult back here. So give me a small step backwards. All 5 toes are on the ground. This is a pretend mini high lunge, and rotate the thigh out. Notice how that wants to open your hip. You're going to keep those hips square to the front, and you can put your heel down there, so it's okay to step your foot out to the side just a little bit. So one more time. Tiny step back. Hips are squared to the front. Knee rotates out, but hips stay front. So that means really both thighs have to activate under the buns here. The external rotation muscles happen right underneath your bun, where your buns and your thigh meet. That's where the muscle is that rotates that thigh out. So if I'm going to step back to high lunge and rotate my thigh out, I'm going to be bracing over here on my standing leg, and I'm going to step my heel down with the thigh out, but this hip is still coming forward. That's the challenge of high lunge. So we'll step back into high lunge for the most part and then change into our warrior ones. Here we go. Starting with your right leg. In your mountain pose, let your shoulders drop. Feel your breath here. Just noticing where you're beginning. When you're ready, connecting that breath. Inhaling up and exhaling, passing through your flat back foot with bent knees. Exhale completely as you come down to that forward fold. Inhale up, flat back, stomach's in. Exhale, soften down. Right leg's gonna step back first today. It's a high lunge, and we'll gently rock forward and back. Now in this location, I already wanna make sure that I'm stepped far enough back that my knee is over my ankle. Another thing that helps with this is make sure your hands are not too far forward. Our hands also should be on either side of the ankle, and they can be on top of a brick. Thank you for demonstrating a brick. Thanks, buddy. All right, before we stand up, we're gonna change that back leg today. So I'm gonna look underneath myself. My hips are square, they're facing the ground. I'm gonna turn that back leg out, and I'm gonna step it out about 4 or 5 inches so that I can put my heel down. And then take that right hip and wrap it back towards the earth. Pressing into both legs. Thinking about spiraling the back foot out and sweeping it behind myself. I'll get up to my lunge. Sometimes I also think about front hip back. Don't rush today. Just see if you can find those square upright hips. Big breath. Warrior one. Relaxed shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, open those arms and just come on down. Hands to either side of that foot. Before you step back, we're gonna lift up the back heel, rotate that back thigh, step it in. Step back legs together to your plank. Actively pressing into the knuckles and fingers. When you need to, you can put those knees down. I'd much prefer a healthy modified plank than a booty in the air full plank. And gently rock down. Inhale, gathering your belly lock up first, pulling those legs together, shoulder blades down the back to help you rise. Pressing into your pointer finger and middle finger and thumb and the knuckles. And bring it on down. Let's go back to our child's pose first today. Take those wrists and fold them so that you're pressing your knuckles, the top of your knuckles, into the mat. Remember, you can do this wrist stretch at any time during your practice. Big deep breaths. Flip those hands over, elbows rotate in, tucking your feet, pressing back and walking. Right leg's gonna come up and tuck towards your nose. Go ahead and curl the body and just hold there. Exhale, bringing your knees together. Feel those square hips. Rotating those elbows towards each other. Gently lift the leg without opening the hips. Pressing into your pointer finger and middle finger knuckles and draw it in. You can rock your weight forward if you like. And let's go ahead and pendulum, but we're not going to open the hips. And go ahead and come down to all fours. Now, some of you I know have some shoulder issues. So when we're up here doing pendulums and stuff like that, can be a lot on your shoulders. So here's some options that we can do instead. Instead of being in our downward dog, fully extended arms, you can try coming down on our shoulders, and this tends to like spread the weight out a little bit, and you can do your pendulums here. So let's all do pendulums here as well. Yeah, and notice how your hips in this position, it becomes really obvious whether you're opening them or not. I know it feels juicy to open them to the side, but we really want to build that strength of keeping them parallel to the ground. So let's keep them flat today. Good. Go ahead and come back onto those arms when you're ready. And right foot's gonna sweep through. We're gonna step our left foot out. Square, close the hips, rotate out the left thigh, and think about pulling your left ankle behind to your center line. Draw those hands up the center line. Find your breath. And this time we're just gonna hold our palms up here and try and drop those shoulders down. And I'm fiercely swinging my back leg towards my center line behind me here. I'm gonna reach my hands, palms facing each other, stomach in. I'm gonna press into both feet and lean my heart forward. If you can, just hover above the thigh. Hold that energy in the middle. And arms drop down to either side of your right heel. Switch your back leg. Rock through that back heel, so pointing and flexing the back ankle. And that actually is your little springboard to help you step forward. Sploop. Walk that forward fold. Soften the knees, inhale up, flat back. Exhale, soften. Curl the body, rise up. There's your right cycle. We're gonna start the left cycle. Here we go. Try and connect your breath the whole time. Inhale, open. Chest comes up. And exhale through flat back with bent knees. Inhale up to flat back. Exhale, soften. Left leg's gonna step back. Hands on either side of the heel or ankle. Not too far forward because then your knee goes too far forward. Yes. Step slightly out. Rotate that back thigh. Close the hips. Heel down to the floor in the back and the front. And squeeze to the center to square. Hands touch. I encourage you to not wrap those fingers and just see if you can hold your arms up here without hanging on with the ring finger and pinky. You remember that was a really big challenge for me when I started. Soft breath. One more breath in. Reach out. Change the back foot. Step back. Find your plank. Your plank can have knees on the floor. Abs are definitely engaged, trying to make one line from your shoulders to your hips, to your knees, legs together. And chaturanga, that means elbows to ribs, and to the floor. Legs together, gather your belly lock. Inhale, shoulders back. Up to your downward dog. And we're gonna bend the left knee. Roll those shoulders back. Bring your left knee to your nose. Just hold it there. Feel square hips. And send the foot up without changing the hips. It's not going to go as high as if you open the hips, I know. And thighs together. And curve nose to knee. Remember, you can come down onto your elbows here. We're going to repeat on our elbows after this, but if you want to do all of them on your elbows, you can. And the more that you're wrapping your elbows towards each other, instead of laying them face the side of the room, the less pressure you're going to have on those shoulder rotator cuffs. All right, bring that knee down to the floor. Press back to child's pose, flip the wrists. Big breath. Go ahead and place your hands down on the floor. Instead of holding hands this time, I invite you to have flat palms so that you are feeling the effort of squeezing your elbows down and back, yeah? So we're building that strength. And pendulum legs with no motion in the hips. Good. Toes together. Press back into your downward dog. Kiss your kitten. Left leg up. Send it through. Find your high lunge and then change it to your warrior one. Pulling that front hip back. Knees set up over the ankle. Rising up. Ujjayi breath. And lean forward. Stretch your skull out to infinity. Stretch your hips forward, your knees forward, your head forward, your heel back. And drop those hands down to either side of your foot. Step back to high lunge. Rock through your back leg a little bit. And push off of that foot. Come feet together. Inhale. Soften. Roll it up. Come back to your mountain. Close your eyes. We're going to take our hands down by our sides and just feel that feeling. Square, or rather rectangle, torso. Yes, nice and aligned. We're going to slide your right foot back to balancing stick pose. Bus stop A. So I'm going to keep my hands here for the moment just so I can feel that straightness of my torso. I don't want in this for my hips to rotate open. So I'm going to engage my core. Bus stop B, toe is off. Bus stop C, maybe a 45-degree angle. Notice this hip definitely wants to come up because the leg is up, so I'm going to keep it flat to the ground. Lift the leg a little higher. And keeping those hips parallel to the ground. Balancing stick. Bring it back up nice and steady. to the other side. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see it this side. Taking your left foot back. I'm going to start by engaging my core, bringing my shoulders down my back so I'm connected all through the torso. Your left foot's going to go back. Bust up B, the toe comes off the ground, and that's just using your glute and hamstring. So I haven't actually changed my hips very much at all, glute and hamstring. And keep going for bust up C if you want. 45. Keeping those hips aligned by bringing your thighs to the center line, but not crossing over, yeah, because that's going to twist your hips too. So nice and flat. Use your butt to lift that leg a little bit more, reaching through the toe, radiating through the skull. Hips flat. Slowly back up. Good. Switch. All right. So we're going to take that same starting moment of moving into your balancing stick, or also known as Warrior 3, and we're going to go from Warrior 3 on to Warrior 2. Here we go, friends. Big breath in. I'm going to take my hands down my side as I exhale. So I really want to focus on those square hips. And take your right leg back. Step back into high lunge. Turn your whole pelvis out to Warrior 2. So now your left leg is facing front. And most of us have lost our lower back pelvis position, so I'm going to take a big breath in. Drop the tailbone down. Keep opening the front knee. Opening both things at the same time takes practice. Let those arms come front and back. Your gaze is forward. Your leg to the back is facing straight forward. Your thigh to the front is over the second toe. We're going to add our Cupid bow and arrow of arms. Shoot some love out into this world. And this time we're going to take our forward arm down to the front leg into side angle. Glance down, knee over ankle here, not beyond it. If your leg is beyond, move that back leg back or your front leg forward. And we're going to stretch up, make one long line from your fingertips down to the back leg. And try looking up if you can into the crease of your elbow. Keeping that forward knee open over the toe and your back hip open to the side of the room. We're going to come up with our next breath and make a big crescent moon. So now the line is your back leg up through that curved parenthesis-shaped arm. And looking up at our top hand. Front leg is having an experience. Breathe through it. Stay in that front leg. Come back to Warrior 2. Here's your reward. Straighten that front leg. Ha! Heel toe, your back leg a bit closer. Take your hands to that nice flat pelvis and tip the whole rectangle, shoulders and hips. Come back up. No bending in your middle body here. We want to keep this nice and straight. Stomach's engaged, tip from your hip sockets. A stretch on the outside here would be great. Up. Good, one more time and we'll stay in our triangle pose. There's two parts to the triangle pose. There's the part where we're holding and rotating flat. Good. Pressing actively into both legs. pressing that back hip towards the back of the room. Take one more breath here. And hand can come to the thigh or below the knee, just not right on it, to the ankle, to the calf, to a brick. And then rotate those ribs again. Everybody, please bring this top arm a little bit forward of your shoulders, so we're not clenching in that shoulder. Good. We're going to soften the knees and come on down to high lunge. Scooching my back foot back, I'm going to put the knee down and let the thighs open. Yeah? If my ankle is passing the arch of my foot, see how it's really quite bent? If we're any more bent than that, I would definitely separate my front and back. Yeah? So we're letting those hips drop into the middle here. If you have bricks, you can put your bricks right here to help you not have to go so far down. Remember, your bricks are there to bring the ground up to you. Big breath in. We're going to press both hips back. You can leave this back foot pointed back here, but I kind of like tucking it and stretching out the sole of my foot. I'm going to pull this front leg's hip back even further so that I'm square in the hips again. You can see that's happening when your knees align. And a big forward hamstring stretch for this, your left leg. Back. Right foot is also stretching a lot right now. Gently shift your body forward. Lift that back knee. Push through the back ankle. And one of the other tricks that I use to get that one step to the front is I will lift up my hips just a little bit as my knee comes underneath me. And you can do that by pressing into your front leg. You can sometimes come up to your fingertips with your hand as opposed to leaving it all the way on the ground. So I'm thinking booty up to get my foot in so that I can step together. And take your time, like 2 full breaths rolling up to the top here. I'm going to start the other side, and this time I'm going to do the other side demonstrating with bricks. I've been showing enough bricks for you, so brick time it is. And I'm going to also go all the way to the side for this demonstration. Okay, so we stepped your left foot back last time, so we're going to step your right foot back this time, I believe. Actually, I'll start to the front here. Other side. I'm going to feel my squareness. I'm going to drop my ribs down, engage my core, and then from there, integrated motion. I'm going to slide the foot back, engage the gluteus maximus behind me, and begin to tip. Step back to that back foot. You're in high lunge here. We're going to open the pelvis all the way, taking the back leg with it, but leaving our front knee to the front. Tailbone drops down, thighs part. And here in your warrior 2 position, ideally, this front heel draws a line to the arch of your back foot. So this front thigh is pointed to the front edge of your mat, and the back knee, toes, hips, and shoulders are all pointing to the long edge of your mat. In the full expression of this pose, you know, after 10 years of doing it, the knee is right over the ankle at a 90-degree angle. Whew. And your palms float above each foot. So you can see in mine, I'm not fully at 90, and my palms are kind of over my toes there and a little bit past. If I were at 90, which I can get to, but it doesn't feel great anymore to stay in, you know, I'll get back there one time. Then I start to have that hands right over the foot position. But whew, that's intense. So I'm going to come up to where I can hold it without falling. And that's where my edge is right now, is where I can hold it. It feels like a challenge, but it feels like a doable challenge because we want to be practicing holding a pose correctly in alignment rather than holding it incorrectly but further just to get a little lower. That would be just our ego, right? So honoring your body where it's at by working where you are. Pew, pew, pew. Hearts and stars out there. All right, this time we're going to take our forward elbow down to our knee and make that one long line. This feels like, oh my gosh, I'm already going bonkers. You can put a brick in front of or behind that knee. But make sure we're not allowing this knee to twist in, yeah? So I kind of recommend, if you're really trying to make it less bad, then inside, just because it helps you keep that knee out. And then one long line. Inhale up. Rotate the whole upper body for your crescent. And back to your warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Ah. Heel toe, the back thigh in. Hands down to your pelvis. And we're going to practice that hinge from the hip sockets all the way down here. Resist the temptation to bend from the waist. Yeah, different pose. Hinge from the hip sockets. Open up this hip so the weight of my body kind of splays out through this hip. I feel a big stretch here. Making sure both thighs are engaged, my kneecaps are lifted, so I'm not locked in those knees. They're very much stretching into the floor. And I'm going to send my arms out and use my core strength to be in my pose wherever I can hold it. Trying to be flat as though there were a wall behind me. And then when I'm ready, I can come to my thigh. Above or below the knee, but not on the knee, or to your brick. And then rest the weight of the arm into the brick. Let this expand more because it's no longer supporting your weight. Make sure we're keeping those hips open. So another thing to think about is this back hip tends to close and shoot back behind you. So you want to think about pushing this lower hip forward so that it's underneath the top hip. And if your arm is way back here, then your shoulder is going to be up. So roll those shoulders down and air on the side of arm 4 inches in front of your rib. So you can feel that nice open shoulder instead of a locked up shoulder. Good, and we're going to turn our body towards the front leg. Bricks are going to be on either side of the heel. Rotate the back heel and hip, so that you can come down into your low lunge and drop that knee onto the floor and let your thighs separate. Yeah, so if you don't have bricks, that's cool. You can put your hands on the floor. If you have a couple, 8 packs of soda, those would work in a pinch here, although they're a bit difficult to move with one hand. Other things that I've used are, during the pandemic, I used a lot of 4 packs of toilet paper as bricks. Those will work for this too. So whatever you have on hand that works for you is totally okay to use. letting those hips open downward. We did a lot of thinking earlier about squaring the hips as opposed to opening them. So if you notice that your back hip is opening up, see if you can think about getting that front hip back nice and steady there. And then lift up through the belly. We're going to tuck those toes, so we're stretching the sole of the feet. I'm going to walk my bricks back, and whoo, my hamstrings are tired from cardio. I'm going to drop my hips down and try and get my kneecaps on the same level here so I know my hips are steady. And drop ahead. And you can be up here with a brick. Lovely. Go ahead and shift forward. Rock through that foot. And step together. One more time in your forward fold. Bent knees are just fine. We're going to drop the hips down and slowly centering through our body. So bringing our legs together, then bringing our belly into our spine as we drop the tailbone down, bringing our shoulder blades down towards our spine to balance the ribs down, bringing our chin and skull right over the center of the body. Let your eyes close, rotate your palms forward. Just feel your balance for a moment. Notice whether your left or the right feels any difference. And then I invite you, if you feel safe, with your eyes closed, to just step your foot out to hip width apart. And go ahead and take your hands to your belly, the center of your body. Maybe about 4 fingers below your belly button is where most Eastern philosophies place the center of gravity. And imagine, if you will, rocking that center of your body from your left foot to your right foot, just nice and slow. So step to one side and shift your weight. Put the weight back on the opposite side and shift that center of gravity over there, just back and forth in your own time. Perhaps it'll feel good to have one hand in the front and one hand on the back of your center. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Giving yourself the simplicity of feeling all the tiny miracles of movement that it takes just to balance your body left and right. When you're ready, place that center right between the 2 feet. Let it be heavy. Gently lengthen through the legs, imagining the thighs pulling together, the belly button coming towards the spine, the bottom of the ribs dropping down and together, the shoulder blades drawing back, and those arms are going to float up with your next inhale, up above your skull, till they touch on your center line and slide down past your forehead, your nose, your mouth, your throat, and resting at your heart. And then I invite you to press fiercely your hands together and press fiercely that belly to your spine. Pull those thighs together as though they could touch and just create as much centering effort into the middle of your body as possible. Pulling in, pulling in, pulling in, pulling in, pulling in, pulling in, pressing in, pressing in, pressing in, pressing in. Big breath in. Keep pressing. 2 more times. Squeeze as hard as you can. 1 more time. And let it go on your next exhale. Let the hands soften, let the eyes open. We're going to soften down to our mat next. Grab a sip of water. We're going to do a deep thigh stretch, and we'll have a little check-in number 2. How did that centering feel? Does your body feel any different? Come on down for our deep lunge stretch. When I first learned this hip opener, it was a workshop on hip opening that I took at the Wanderlust Festival, and I wish I remembered the instructor's name. But he gave us this hip opening class over the course of an hour and a half, and it was really softly lit. And during that time, he told us the story of Hanuman, who was a monkey deity who saved the world by leaping across this vast gap to save a princess. And so when we do the splits in yoga, it's referred to as Hanuman because of the way that he had to leap in the splits to save the day. I love that image of a monkey saving the day in the splits. So when you're ready, if you have bricks, this is a great time for them. And if not, you can do it. We're going to go ahead and come back with our right leg between those bricks into our low lunge. And we're going to think again about those 4 directions of the lunge, right? So our front knee, it goes forward. Our back heel or back thigh is going to slide backwards if we're in a high lunge, right? But here we're still thinking about like reaching that back leg to the back. Our hips are going to be yielding down towards the earth. And our belly in a low lunge, which means low lunge just means your back leg is down. Our belly is lifted. And part of the reason we're lifting in the abdomen here is to help keep those hips square, which is not to say that you can't do more of a twist with the back leg open. It's just a different muscle set that you'd be stretching. So go ahead and come on into this low lunge place. And the first thing we're going to do is take your right hand on the outside of that right knee, and you're going to fiercely press out with the knee into the hand. So I'm still keeping my knee over my ankle actually, but I'm going to act as though I'm going to wing it open like a butterfly stretch. So go ahead and press fiercely there, opening that thigh. And release that. And inhale back. You can walk your bricks back if you like to the hamstring stretch. And this time, instead of tucking that foot, I'm going to go ahead and point it and let my hip drop down even further. Let your head drop forward. Allow your body to release. Now, some folks have a really hard time pointing their foot. Yeah, it's super tight on the top. So if this is just like, oh, agony, you can definitely flex that foot. You can also lift your body up just a little bit by sitting on a brick and then leaning forward so it doesn't have to be such a flop down. Yeah, so the brick can go right underneath your butt in this stretch if you like. We're going to add our breath and a little ripple of the spine. Yeah, so I'm going to inhale, let my spine fill up with air and expand forward, sort of like a sheet in the wind, and then I'm going to exhale and get it lower. We're going to do that 3 times and then find stillness. Inhale, ripple, fill the spine. Exhale forward. And remember, this knee can definitely be bent. It is healthy to keep it bent, but do keep the knee pointing straight up. If it's rotating out to the side, then it's a different stretch. One more time with the breath. And rest for 3 more breath cycles. Lifting up through your belly. We're going to come forward again into our low lunge. And this time, pardon me, biscotti. This time we're going to take the opposite hand. And this is definitely easier with a brick here, but you can do it with your hand on the floor. And we're going to squeeze the thigh into the center line and provide resistance with the opposite hand. Again, we're keeping the knee over the ankle, so it's not actually moving in, but we're creating that resistance, fierce resistance. So centering with that knee and yielding the hips deeper into the stretch. If your knee starts to pass your heel, then move that foot forward. One more. Lovely. Go ahead and come back up into that deep hamstring stretch. I'm going to tuck my foot back this time. Drop my head. And then a little flow forward. Lift the back leg. Back foot down. Inhale and come back. I'm going to repeat this time without the breaks. Inhale. My back is making a cat shape as I come forward. I'm going to exhale and reach the back heel back. One more time, back and forth. Curling my spine as I shift, pulling my thighs together in a centering fashion to keep those hips square. Reaching the back heel back. Lovely. Go ahead and step back to your modified plank. Curve the back like a cat to come to that modified plank. Elbows in. Chaturanga Vinyasa. Notice the difference in sensation between the back of your right leg. And come back to your child's pose for a moment. If you have trouble getting your hips down to your feet here, you can stack up 2 fists and give yourself somewhere to rest your head. One more breath. yourself up. And our other knee is going to come forward. Dropping the back knee down, finding that high, low lunge. Whew. And we're going to take the outside hand, keeping the knee right over its ankle, pressing resistance into the outside hand. As hard as you can push those two things, keeping the knee in place. Allowing that hip to lower down as you exhale. Curling up like a kitty cat with your back to come back into your first hamstring stretch. And remember, you can sit on a brick here if you like. I don't normally do that, but I thought it felt delicious. And we're going to ripple through the spine with our breath. Three breath ripples. Each breath complete. And this one, complete relax. Lifting up your pelvic floor and your belly button, go ahead and curve up through your abdomen to slide forward again into your low lunge. Square hips, ankle far enough forward that the knee remains over the ankle, and press in this time. Find that fierce centering of the inner thigh. Release it. Pull back into the hamstring stretch. This time with pointed foot if you can. Make sure when you pull back that your knees aren't aligned, so that means your hips are squared. It's okay to put a brick back here if you want. It's okay to have a bent left leg. I'm actually supporting this leg so that the knee doesn't rotate out here. When you're ready, gather up. Here's our last right, left, 2 tasks. So we're going to bring our bricks forward. We're going to step gently forward, shifting our weight onto that forward leg and bringing our skull down so you can step your bricks out or your hands onto the leg or onto the floor in spiders. And give yourself, I don't know, maybe 10 inches in front of those legs. And we're going to bring our knees together and extend your Hanuman all the way up into the sky. And really dropping your head forward is kind of the key to this splits in standing Hanuman. And then squeezing that bootay and bring it down. Feet together, hands to bricks or shins. Walk yourself up. That was a very deep stretch. Might be a little twinkle-brained when you rise and breathe in. Roll down. Open up the other side. And gently bring those legs back down to the floor. And this time, we're going to bring our knees to the ground. We're going to send your right leg front and your left leg back, sitting all the way on the right hip. Yeah? And from there, it's okay if the knees are bent. It's okay if you're on your side. Rather than hovering like a tent, we're going to approach your splits from the side. Leg can be quite bent to let you in here. Roll off to the right side before switching your legs. To the other Hanuman. Bus stop A, quite far over on the side, back leg bent. Sneaking that leg back to get to your bus stop BC. Gently rolling your hips to square as you become able. This way we can stay relaxed and inch into the stretch, whereas when we're perched up trying to be square in our splits with our hips hovering in the air, then you're holding your body weight with those same muscles that you're trying to get to relax and stretch out. So that's why it's a good technique to come from the side at this stage. We've done enough perching. Big deep breaths. can use your hands to help your legs back together. And if you have bricks, we can put those bricks under our thighs here. And if you don't have bricks, that's okay too. We're just going to lay on our back for a moment in Baddha Konasana. So that means we're going to take our knees out to the sides and the soles of our feet together. And if you have bricks, you can slide them underneath your knees or hips somewhere that you feel a gentle stretch. And as we stay there, it'll feel more increased. And you can stay there entirely for your Shavasana today. Or if at some point you've had enough of this position, especially if you don't have bricks underneath, then feel free to slide your legs out when you're ready. Or walk your heels out and drop your knees in, which also probably feels delicious after all that stretching. Wherever you are, I encourage you to bring those palms open so you can feel the air again. Our shoulders are tucked behind ourselves, putting our wings away, allowing our collarbones to spread open like a lotus, allowing our thighs to open, and notice whether the weight of your legs likely is taking your back away from the floor, which it might be. Maybe a little bit of energy to keep your lower back long. Big slow breath. In through the nose. And finally out through a soft mouth. Like to change the position of your legs now. Find a comfortable Shavasana for yourself today. And let yourself melt into the waves. side. And curl up in a cozy ball for a moment. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you had a lovely week, and that you can take some of your feeling of centeredness, groundedness, and openness with you into the rest of your week. Hopefully our practice today helped to give you a kinesthetic, like a physical feeling about the way that drawing in towards ourselves helps us to be balanced and allow us then to be able to send our bodies and our good intentions out even further, right? The balance of in and outward expression. I'll see everybody next week.